In this video, we'll do analysis to Mr. Freeman's part two. And this will paints a picture of life that is a complex game of power and control and manipulation. So we're gonna watch it and like see what's going on, and we're gonna do analysis on it, figure out like what it truly means.
This part is very clear. You're nothing but a pawn, and you'll remain a pawn until you play. The rules are clear. Take what they give you, give away what you have to, and the difference is yours. The question is, how big is the difference?
Are you really intending to win?
Well, why not? There are lots like me, and we're the actual players. Because on one side of us are the real cattle who let TV do the thinking for them, while on the other is power who believe that we are shit and feeble-minded cattle. Over in the barn, they want us to take care of them. But a long time ago, they gave up on themselves, and now they won't lift a single finger. While those who have real power became more than the rest. Became gods.
He's referenced us as gods, as in like the people that are higher power. So the higher power usually are referred to as gods because they have the higher up leadership, and usually when they refer to that, they have a more emphasis on each other and how they're the ones in the higher ups, and the lower class are the ones that are working to earn that right to be just like them. And I don't think that's a good idea, but that's just me. I think that's part of society and how it really works, and he describes it here.
That they can't see us as either a serious enemy or a trusted friend. They have only one problem, that they're not immortal. That just leaves you and me. Sometimes I benefit you, other times you me. Everyone plays a game of their own.
Think you're a player, do you?
I play like the great ones.
I think he's like referring to him being, like they're great ones. So he's like saying, hey, they still could get hurt, but at the end of the day, they see themselves as gods because they think they're overpowered. But at the end of the day, they're not. They're just like you and me, basically, what he's talking about there.
Take the authorities. Quite unceremonious, but they do have a few lively plays up their sleeves with the people. Every couple of months, they let them blow off steam. Elections, Black Friday, a new auto plant, the latest installment of Star Wars, the Super Bowl. And the people just gobble it up. But when people have holes in their pockets and nothing to eat, who's responsible for that?
When he says this, it's pretty much saying there's no real answer, because they're responsible for themselves. So that means, basically in our society, America, they're responsible for themselves. And unless you go to like food stamps or something, and that's not a good thing either way, because you're feeding them, but you're not helping them have a house.
So now, without their beer and football, they need a sacrifice. And you can be certain that power will provide them with a patsy, and it'll be us, understand? So that is the game. Here are people who don't care about themselves, and here's authority that doesn't care about them either. And here we are in the middle, who sort of owe something, but what and to whom? It's not clear.
Now, if you notice, you'll see that if you see on the chairs, he's talking about the higher up. So he's the one side saying the higher up. The other side is authority, which is the sword. So it's showing authority and the higher up. So the higher up is like, we're in the middle, so what are we supposed to do here? And then the higher up, or not the higher up, but the authority is sitting there like simple minded,
It's not clear.
How pure and simple. You're more naive than you look. But you're right in that we are like butter that is spread between a thin layer of caviar and moldy bread, which reminds me of a fairy tale. Once there lived a poor wolf, and nearby lived a very powerful and rich fox. They grow up together, were in the same class at school, but now they're in different social classes. The fox's life was like a fairy tale. One day the wolf came to him and said, "Teach me to do it. I'm tired of my life and I want to play with the big boys. I want to live like you. Tell me what to do." The fox answered, "Don't sweat it. I'll fix up a place for you. You'll have a cushy job. You'll sit in a chair, quietly catch fish. By the rules. Don't fuss. Take a lot here, a little there. Anything will do." So the wolf nervously looked around and saw that everyone was doing the same thing. And soon it was all working. He caught big fish and little ones. One day, the fox came to get his share of fish, but the wolf said to him, "Sorry, brother, this fish is stuck to my tail." So the fox went and unstuck it. He cut the wolf's tail off and unstuck the fish. Good thing the wolf wasn't using his for bait.
So basically, now it's saying that, if you work with someone, right, and if you do one thing wrong, they're going to punish you regardless of what you do, and the punishment is super severe, and that's usually with every work. If you do one thing wrong, that's overbearing, or you want to keep your more of the side that you really want, because you don't have much, and if they do have much and they have a lot, like it's shown there, the government will try to punish them either way. That's from society too. Society does that as well. If you're a rich person, they take from you still. No matter what, if you have savings, that money will go away because of other things. It's the cost of living. It's the other things that happen. It's the addition to all, and the wolf and the fox is just a demonstration of the higher ups taking from the poor, just to keep them the lower class. This will eventually happen to everyone and every single thing until only the few majority is left. That talks in other videos about. So
That's what happens when you play by someone else's rules.
Why are you telling me your tales here? If you're so smart, then maybe you know a way out.
The way out, my colleague, is through the entrance. It's time to get out of this game. Look, yeah, we have money, and what good does it do? There is nothing for us to do in this country. The number of alcoholics and morons is larger than the whole population. It's all polluted, education doesn't exist, and that new auto plant? It's not real. There's no other way than to leave and wipe this nightmare from our brains.
To leave? And who's going to let you do this? You'll never forget this nightmare because it won't ever let you wake up. We do have money. But whose money is it? Is it yours, really? Can you actually spend it? Or offshore it? Can you legalize it? Give it to your children? Don't lie to yourself. Don't be like the others. You're in a trap, and the trap will only open its jaws once you are good and deceased. We can buy our way out of a criminal suit, maybe a nice mansion, a few cars, expensive tutors for the kids, but that's about it. See, you're like a hamster on a wheel, no freedom to be seen while the system rolls right on. Why don't I tell you a fairy tale, my special friend?
okay, this part is a concept about authority, how authority can be blinded to that new auto plan and all the nice stuff that they see in the news and is going to happen, and it's just all imaginary. He's really saying, and that's the truth. Is that all that stuff he's really trying to do is all imaginary to their eyes because it doesn't really happen. It really rarely doesn't happen, and when it does, they praise it like it's some you know amazing thing that they finally done. They should have done in the first place. Many things like in American politics do the same thing, where they praise this idea of having all this new stuff and everything happening when it just doesn't happen. They lie to you, and even in politics, they do it all the time in American politics. They lie to you about all the things they want to do, and they'll continuously do it over and over. And this is just what he's talking about is that no matter what you do, the game has already been played for you. It's set in stone for you, no matter what you do, and that's just in how normal society works in general.
Once there lived a smart guy like you. He found a job, settled in, and slowly rolled along with his life. Then he looked around and rolled a bit faster. He was allocated a budget and he administered it wisely, and by the rules, he got his cut. You know what I mean? Why would you ever build a fence for $1 million when it can be done for so much more? So he rolled on like this. The books looked good. Sometimes they didn't quite balance, but mostly it was a well-oiled machine. He'd give a taste to get off in court, give a taste to avoid an audit, he'd give a taste to whomever caught him and get away. But came the day he decided, enough. I've made enough for myself and my kids. No more risk. Everything can change. I'm leaving the game. Quietly. I need to move my money out and leave. I got away from Grandma. I got away from Grandpa. I got away from the traffic cop, the prosecutor, and the tax police. And I can get away from you, Mr. Fox.
When he says this, he really is trying to say that, when what rich people do basically is they work, they get on their money, they set it forward, they set a community or set a company up, and to the point where they get to the point where, hey, I got enough money and everything, I'm gonna exit out the place and just go somewhere else and just transfer this money somewhere else so I can keep it all and no one else be around to it, and I can evade the authority, which is the fox. I can evade that authority and the higher ups from that country and go to somewhere other country or other place that is more safer for me, that I can use that money. That's basically what he's saying in this story.
And what?
What? Just letting him go would have been a total loss for the fox. Nobody leaves. The fox hates feisty people. To those who want to leave, he gives a very tough time. Bounces them from the tax police to the DA to court, bleeds them dry and tosses them in jail. You asked for it, gingerbread man. Why are you silent? Hello? Are you even here?
Leave him alone. He looks like he's asleep.
At this part, he's basically saying either no matter what you do, they're gonna get you and take your money back that they came from that country. They're gonna find ways like to tax and people and the court and everything. I'll take it all the way if you go somewhere else. They don't want that money transferred anywhere else. They want it right here where they are, and they want you to keep it there until your end of your days.
What can I say? You seem to be making some good points, so I didn't chime in. So what do you want? To win or not to lose?
Not to lose.
It doesn't matter. How is it possible to win or lose in a game where the rules are constantly changing but are never changed by you? I want to tell you a story too. There once was a turnip that grew very, very big. They started tugging it in different directions but just couldn't pull it out. The turnip creaks but it won't come out. Then one smartass said, why don't we just grab the turnip together and pull it in the same direction? They grabbed it, pulled really hard, and pulled out the turnip. It shined gloriously like the sun, so beautiful, so smooth. When the turnip was just sitting there, no one got anything at all. But after it was pulled, everyone had enough. There is one way alone for us to agree amongst ourselves, to finally write some rules ourselves. And that's when it will start. Our game.
This last part is about basically, hey, you can change those rules. The I means us as human beings, as the individuals, as the collective. The collective means all of us. If all of us can go together and go against these powers that is saying we can't win, we could win, we have to pick for ourselves what winning means for us in the eyes of the collective, which is all of us, and we need to do that together as a society to make our country or our state better, and that's what we want to do in our world. But yeah. All right, well, I think that's pretty much it. But I just want you to be able to like the video or something because I really need some views and all that. And I just want to do this analysis and to try it out. So, yeah, see you in the next analysis of Mr. Freeman.